Okay, so third quick video, should be too long. We're on page 65, okay, and now we're looking at the landforms of the ridges, or landforms of the ridgelands. So I've added again, these are the features found in ridgelands, okay. Think about our limestone features as well. Alright, you'll notice it's very, very similar. So again, just ridges start out life as coastal sand dunes. We look at that in the PowerPoint in just a few minutes, okay. The first thing we find, feature 1, caves. Alright, when we studied limestone, we learned about all these underground caves, okay, and again, the same reason, limestone is permeable, so water can flow through it, and so on, okay. Also, some of these caves would be below the water table, so they would be flooded caves. At the same time, in the last lesson, we spoke about how one of the factors which influenced how the Bahamas was formed was rising and falling sea levels. So a lot of our dry caves today, okay, would have actually one time been underwater, but the sea levels have dropped. Now remember, our ridges are our high land. So just some notes. I'm not going to go over this for too long because we should be able to get through this pretty easy. It is only when a cave is found on relatively high land, like a ridge, okay, well above the water table, that it is dry and accessible. Okay, we got Hunt's Cave in New Providence as a little example. You got Hamilton's Cave on Long Island as well. Okay, so I'll look at New Providence one in a little bit more detail. Jump on to the next page. Again, very simple. Sorry, top of page 66. Very simple little cave system. All right, you've got your limestone. We got our higher cave, and then you've got your lower flooded cave below the sea level, and so on like that. Okay, so what you get in ridgelands, wherever there's high land above sea level, you'll have a series of dry and wet cave formations. Okay, and again onto page 68, more features. You got shafts, which are sinkholes essentially from our limestone. Okay, they're the way the entrance into a cave. You've got different tunnels, all right, so horizontal or sloping passages, all right. So if they're a roundy shape, like the picture at the top of page 68 here, that means they were probably filled with water at one point, okay. So again, you got shafts and tunnels within the ridgeland, so underground. You've also got then number 4, oops, all right. Number 4 are caverns, which are just big caves. And number 5, okay, stalactites and stalagmites. Okay, we've got our stalactites, stalagmites, rock curtains, and other dripstone features. So what dripstone means is, if you remember back to how these were formed, okay, by the water dripping from the ceiling of caves and leaving behind that calcium carbonate. So again, all of these are formed in our caves in ridgelands. So the ridgeland is the highland, and within that you often find caves and so on. Alright. If you're wondering what a rock curtain is, it's like a very wide stalagmite or stalactite, which looks like a kind of almost a wall. Okay. And we've also got all these features are collectively called dripstones. So stalagmites, stalactites, rock curtains, they're all just called dripstones, as they start life out from dripping water. That's as simple as it is. Okay. Sorry, this is page 69. The last feature you will find in ridgelands are lakes. Alright, and all that means is that the water table has been reached. So what often happens, beside a ridgeland you will have an area of quite low land. Okay, I'll show you some examples of this in just a moment. And all that means is a lake is just where the water table has come above the surface of the land. Alright, that's us finished with the textbook. I'm going to spend 5 or 6 minutes on a PowerPoint now. Okay, you will need to head up and make some notes, so have some folder sheet ready, please. Okay, so what we're going to do, just to finish off, 5 minutes just on a little PowerPoint, just to reiterate some of the key points. Okay, so what we have is, again, you can head up with that. Okay, so you can pause the video there if you want. Bahamian Landscapes Ridgelands, May or April 20th, alright, and objective and copy connection. We're going to make some notes here just very quickly. There's the diagram again of Long Island. Okay, we don't need to talk about that, but I do want you to make a note of this here, okay? It shows a variety of ridgelands on Long Island. All right, we had our curved ones, our straight ones, and our coastal ridges. All right, the ridges are formed through deposition, creating sand dunes, which have since layered up and hardened into sedimentary rocks, forming ridges. So make a quick note of all in black, please. So that will help you with some homework later in the week about how ridgelands form. Okay. Secondly, then, just to link back into map skills a little bit as well. All right, from page 64, your Cat Island ridge. All right, and across the bottom it's got a little cross section here. Again, notice how the ridgeland is the high land. I'll talk about this in just a second. But again, I want you to highlight or write this in black about our contours and our cross sections, how they illustrate or show the different types of landscape we can have. All right. Then, looking at that one in a bit more detail. Okay, so there's the cross section again of Cat Island. All right, you will notice the highest point, Kelly Hill, is the ridgeland. All right, so also notice right beside it is one of the lowest points. And what happens is when it rains or when there's any water in the rock, it will flow to the lowest point, and this is creating a wetland. So one of the features, one of the things you will often find beside a ridgeland is a lake or a wetland. Okay. What I'd like you to make a note of just here is not the first sentence, okay, but everything else. So from notice down as far as area. Also, these lakes have many benefits for locals. They offer fresh water for house or domestic use, home use. They also can be used to help with small-scale industry or farming. Okay, San Salvador, for example, or the Acklands and things like that. They often use water for small-scale farming. Okay. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about New Providence as well. Obviously, we got Nassau, you got the West, and so on, right? We got Village Road over here with QC and Paradise Island. So above is a map of New Providence. To the north of the island, so all the way along here, okay, all the way, nearly the length of the island to the north, all right, is a long ridge. Okay, a long ridge runs along the coastline from east to west. So from the east here, all along the coast, all the way through downtown, all the way past Bahamar over to here, you've got a ridgeland, an area of raised land. Okay, so what evidence do we have for this? The evidence is by highland found along this area. Think of Fort Charlotte down here. Okay, I got a little picture. The view from the top of Fort Charlotte, you can actually see a huge variety of things. So ridgelands are the highest areas, so therefore they're good viewpoints. Okay, that's why Fort Charlotte was built on the top of it, so it could see out to sea if anybody was coming. All right, you got the hills as you walk inland from downtown. So if you're ever downtown and you walk up any of the streets, okay, headed inland, East Street, Blue Hill Road, Collins Avenue, Nassau Street, you will start to rise up as you walk away from the ocean. Okay, so the land by the sea is very flat, but then just in here we got this area of high land. Okay. This ridgeland also shows classic features. You've got the caves out here, okay? The cave system. As we've said, caves are a sign of ridgeland. And the formation of a lake behind the ridgeland, Cunningham Lake, just here. All right? So it's obvious there's a ridgeland here because the land is raised up. And also we got caves and lakes. If you were to walk or drive through any of the roads which cut through this ridgeland, you will notice the big straight walls, okay, of pure limestone also. All right, so that being said, I'm going to finish there. Okay, and that is our ridgelands done. There's no assignment with today's work. I'll be setting you an assignment tomorrow. All right, but for now we're done. Make sure you get all of the notes from all of those 4 slides down, please. That one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay, I want this written as well.